that there is only elected members of the representatives of the people only will be the members of this electoral college. If we discuss the electoral college will which consists of elected members of both houses of the parliament, and also the elected members of legislative assemblies of states, and also the elected members of the legislative assemblies of the union territories like Delhi and Pondicherry. Here we have to clarify that what is the difference between elected members, what is the specified like these elected members means only uh, elected by the people only belongs to these electoral college members. Then who are the eliminated from this list means there are indirect elected members and nominated members are there. As we discussed for Lok Sabha, there are 2 Anglo-Indians are nominated by the President of India. For Rajya Sabha, 12 members are different categories are nominated by the President of India. So these kind of nominated members or indirect elected members will not be part of this electoral college. Means only elected members of the these both houses of the parliament and legislative assemblies of states, and also 2 union territories, that which means Delhi and Pondicherry. From these elected members are the crucial members of the electoral college of this selection procedure for the President of India. So if we discuss about the qualifications of the president, Article 58 of the Indian Constitution decides that these following qualifications seeking to the office of the president. That qualifications, if we see, the person must be a citizen of India and also must have completed the age of 35 years. As we discussed for Lok Sabha 25 years, for Rajya Sabha 30 years. Here for President of India, he must be completed the age of 35 years and also must be qualified for the as a member of the any house like Lok Sabha or Rajya Sabha. The qualifications means he must not hold any government office or government employment from the any level of the government, state government or central government or local body or other urban government, like that. He must not be a member of any public employment. So that person will be the eligible to contest the President of India. But here some difference is there for a individual member and also for a contesting President of India. So if we see, if you want to contest as a President of India, there must be the minimum support of electoral college members. There must be at least 50 members from the electoral college members should support to contest the President of India. No one will contest as a President of India. We do not have right to contest as a for the position of President of India. Only those who are getting support from the 50 members of these electoral college members, that person will be the eligible to contest the President of India. So that is the difference for the an individual and for the election of this procedure of President of India. And also he must deposit at least 15,000 for the election deposit at the Reserve Bank of India. So this is the minimum qualifications for the contest as a President of India. And also the procedure of election, as we discussed, the electoral college will be the main election agenda or election procedure for the election of this President of India. So here, as we discussed, only the elected members from the both houses of parliament and state assemblies and union territories like Delhi and Pondicherry, elected members are the part of this electoral college, and that members will be decide the this position. So the voting procedure will be different from the our election procedure. So here that is a secret ballot system, and also the value of the votes will be different from the person to person. Means MLA will decide, MLA and MPs are different categories of voting percentage will be there. For MLA represent to some population, and an MP will represent some population. So that will be different from the MLAs to MPs for this election of the President of India. The quota will be decided in their total number of valid votes polled by the number of members who are elected plus here. So if we discuss about the term of the office, as we discussed, Article 56 says that the President of India will hold office for a term of at least 5 years from the date of assuming charge as the President of India. But the President may resign before the term, means before 5 years he may resign, and that term addressing the letter to the Vice President of India. The true copy of the letter should be sent to the presiding officer of the Lok Sabha. So the President may, for the reasons must be any reason, but here we have mentioned in our constitution, that is the President may be for the violation of Indian constitution be removed from the office by impeachment in the manner provided in Article 61. So this impeachment procedure also is a different and unique procedure for the removal of the President of India. However, the President continues to hold office till the new President assumes office. So impeachment procedure is Article 61 says of Indian Constitution deals with this procedure, how to remove the President of India from this office. So the Indian President may be removed from the office through impeachment by the Parliament members on the grounds of violation of Constitution. Here in our syllabus, the removal of the President through a judicial process of Parliament is called impeachment. So here there are 4 stages of impeachment of President is here. Firstly, the resolution of impeachment in writing should signed by 1/4 of the total members. 1/4 of the total members in any house, means in Rajya Sabha or Lok Sabha. At least 1/4 of the members of any house should write a notice of before 14 days should inform to the President. Such a resolution should be passed by at least 2/3 of the total members of the house. So the members, which 1/4 members should write a this letter and should inform to the President of India at least 14 days before, and after 14 days from the house which they are imposing that impeachment procedure, that house should be support that bill at least 2/3 majority of the total members. So, and secondly, the resolution approved by the first house will be sent to the second house. In case that resolution started in the Lok Sabha, after the acceptance of Lok Sabha, that resolution will be sent to the Rajya Sabha. In case of Rajya Sabha started that procedure, the Rajya Sabha acceptance procedure, later that will send to the Lok Sabha. And later, in third stage, the second house may investigate the charges directly or indirectly. At that time, President has right to present his views, or through a deputy or proxy. He may refer some other person. So on his behalf during such inquiry. And fourthly, if the charges against the president are established and adopted by the second house with 2/3 majority, the president shall be removed. So here the 2/3 majority of both houses will be there for the removal of this procedure, removal of the office of president of India. So the here in our Indian history, no president has been removed with this impeachment, although attempts were made to remove at the time of Neelam Sanjeev Reddy during 1978. But the impeachment procedure has been withdrawn later lack of majority. So, and also as per the Constitution of India, the President of India who holds the office, he can re-elect again for this post of President of India. So here, if we discuss about the oath of the office and secrecy, Article 60 of the Constitution deals with the oath of the office of the president. The president takes oath of office in the presence of Chief Justice of India, means Chief Justice of Supreme Court will take this oath of the President of India. If the Supreme Court Chief Justice is not there, the senior most justice will be preside this oath ceremony. So that is the procedure for the oath of the President of India. So if we discuss about the salaries and emoluments, the president is entitled to take salary at least rupees 1,50,000 per month. The president is also eligible for a pension of 9 lakhs per annum on the expiration of his term or resignation, means 50% of last month's salary will get as a pension. And also the emoluments and pensions were revised by the parliament from time to time. And also after he may entitled to have free shelter, accommodation and health facilities from the government of India. So if we discuss about the powers and functions of the President of India, here we have different types of powers are there. That is, number one is normal powers, and number two is special powers, that is we called as a emergency powers. So the powers and functions of the President of India in the Constitution of India is, there are in normal powers, there are executive powers are there, legislative powers are there, financial powers are there, and judicial and external powers are there, and also emergency powers also there for this President of India. For in normal powers, first we have to discuss about the executive powers of the President of India. Here the President of India is the head of the executive, as per the Constitution of India says that the head of the executive called as a President of India. As we discussed in previous lesson, if union government wants to create any law or prepare any law, in the name of President of India only they will prepare. So like that, the entire executive depends upon the name of President of India. Actually here original powers are exercised by the President of India and his Council of Ministers. Therefore all executive powers are vested in the hands of the President of India. He can exercise these powers either directly or indirectly or through the subordinate officers, which means the President of India or Council of Ministers. Here in executive powers, according to the Constitution of India, all the executive action is also taken in his name. As we discussed, the President appoints the governors of the states, the judges of the Supreme Court and High Court of the states, and also the Prime Minister of India also appointed by the President of India after the general elections. Who got the complete majority, the President can decide to the position of Prime Minister of India. The President also appoints other ministers in consultation with the Prime Minister. And also, the Constitution of India empowers the President to appoint the important officers of Union government, including Attorney General of India, the Comptroller and Auditor General of India, and the Chairman of the Financial Commission, and also Chief Election Commissioner and other election commissioners, etc. And also, the President is responsible for the administration of the Union territories. For this reason, he appoints Chief Commissioners and Lieutenant Governors of the centrally administered areas. And also, the President has been empowered to set up a commission for the settlement of disputes relating to the supply of water between two or more states. In case of river water disputes in between any two or more states, the President has right to establish a commission to resolve that dispute between that states. And also, President alone can remove the Council of Ministers, the governors of the states, and the Attorney General of India. And also, the President of India is a Supreme Commander. We will call it the President of India as a Supreme Commander, which means he is the Chief of the Army, Navy, and Air Force of the Union. He has the power to declare war, power to stop the war. That is the special authority of the President of India. And also, the President also enjoys the diplomatic power, which means he appoints the diplomatic representatives of India to the foreign states. Every foreign state has our foreign diplomats, which means we will call it as Indian Foreign Service officials will be there in every country. They will represent our India in that country. And also, the President represents India in international affairs. He has the power to conclude treaties with foreign states. He can represent in United Nations organizations or any international conferences. He can represent our state. This is the executive powers of the President of India. If we discuss about legislative powers of the President of India, the President of India also enjoys legislative powers, which means he is an integral part of our Indian Parliament. And Parliament consists of, as we discussed in Parliament lesson, the President is integral part of this our Parliament of India. Here, in two houses, the House of the People, which means Lok Sabha or lower house, the Council of States, which means Rajya Sabha or upper house. The President has the power to summon and prorogue both the House of the Parliament. And also, he can also dissolve the House of the People before the expiry of its term. Means, if there is a lack of majority, he can dissolve the House of the People before the expiry of its term. As we discussed, before the 5 years of the term, if there is lack of majority, he can right to dissolve the government. So, the Constitution of India empowers the President to deliver and address the Parliament at the commencement of the first session of every year. He may also send messages to the Parliament. And also, President nominates 2 members to the Lok Sabha from the Anglo-Indian category and 12 members for the Rajya Sabha from different special knowledge in arts, science, literature, and social service, science and technology. That is the right to nominate 12 members from different categories. And also, in India, a public bill cannot become without the assent or consent of the President of India. A bill passed by the Union Parliament is sent to the President for his assent. So, the President may give his assent to the bill or may withhold his assent from the bill or he may return the bill to the parliament for its reconsideration. If the bill is again passed by the both houses of the parliament, the president shall have to give his assent. For the second time, he may not return that bill to the parliament for the reconsideration. He has the right to send for the single time only. And also, when the parliament is not in session, the president may issue an ordinance for the administration purpose. It has the same force as the law or parliament, but it must be placed before the parliament when it again assembles. If it is then approved by the both houses of the parliament, it will cease to operate after 6 weeks of the date of meeting of the parliament. And the president can call a joint session of both houses of parliament to resolve a constitutional deadlock over a public bill. This is the legislative powers of the president of India. And one more is financial powers. Financial powers are exercised by the president of India according to the article 112 to 117, 112th to 117th article are decides about financial powers of the president of India. Here the president of India also exercises these financial powers. Here one important thing is no money bill can be introduced in parliament without the recommendations of the president. If the central government or if the cabinet wants to introduce the money bill, that must be take assent from the president of India before introducing the house. That means no money bill can be introduced in parliament without the confirmation of the president. According to the Constitution of India, the annual financial statement, which we are talking as a budget, is placed by the president before both houses of the parliament. This statement shows the estimates of revenue and expenditure of the central government for the next year or the upcoming year. It may be pointed out that the proposal for taxation and expenditure cannot be made without the approval of the president of India. So this is the important financial powers. And also the president can appoint finance commission for the period of 5 years. And the president also has right to review or right to collect reports from the comptroller and auditor general, and he may send that reports to the parliament for the review, for the detailed analysis. And also the president has judicial powers. The president of India grants pardons, reprieves or remissions of punishment to any person who has been convicted by a court of law. And also as we discussed, he is the supreme commander of our India, which means he is the leader of 3 army forces, which means army, navy and air force. And also he has right to declare war or right to stop the war. These all are belongs to these judicial powers and military powers. So if we discuss about external, means this diplomatic powers, in international treaties and agreements that are approved by the parliament are negotiated and concluded in his name only. And also he is the representative of India in international forums or international conferences or any international affairs or international organizations such as United Nations of organizations. So if we discuss about the emergency powers of the President of India, he deals with three types of emergency powers given in the Indian Constitution. Number one is national emergency that will discuss in Article 352 of our Constitution of India. And second one is President's rule that will also discuss under Article 356 and 365. And also there is another emergency power is financial emergency that will discuss in the Article 360. So here national emergency means the President of India may issue a proclamation of national emergency when the security of India or any part thereof is threatened by war, armed rebellion, or external aggregation, such as proclamation of emergency may remain in force for an indefinite period. During a proclamation of national emergency, the executive powers of the states is to be exercised in accordance with the directions given by the central government. The parliament has the power to make laws on the subjects enumerated in the state list. The right to freedom of freedom of speech and expression, freedom of to form association, freedom to practice and profession, etc., embodied in Article 19 shall remain suspended during national emergency. So that will decide this national emergency. So and if we discuss about this national emergency, at the time of three times we have imposed this national emergency. During 1962 Indo-China War and 1965 India-Pakistan War and 1971 to 75 war between India and Bangladesh. Three times has been imposed under Article 352 as a national emergency during the war period between our neighbor states. So at that time, the impact of this national emergency will applicable to the all the states in the India. So during this time, all the state government executive control will be goes to the under the hands of central government. So this is the national emergency which we have mentioned in our constitution under Article 352. So according to this Article 352, the president can declare the national emergency when he is satisfied that the security of India is under emergency with the cause of war or armed rebellion, etc. It is also be noted that the president can declare the emergency even before such actual occurrences take places. So here there are changes also there. The president can decide this situation accordance with the Council of Ministers headed by the Prime Minister of India. So if we discuss about the effects of the national emergency, as we discussed, all the states administration goes to the under the guidance of Union Parliament, and also Union government is empowered to issue executive directions to the state governments. The president can extend a normal tenure of the Lok Sabha, which means if there is a need to dissolve the Lok Sabha, he may extend one more year of its tenure. at the time of national emergency. And also the tenure of the state assemblies also can be extended for one more year. The fundamental freedoms mentioned in Article 19 can be restricted during the emergency. So as we discussed, 3 times in India, we have been imposed under the Article 352 in the name of national emergency. Out of 3 emergencies, the proclamation of emergency in 1975 had become controversial. The public response was so intense that the Congress party had lost its majority in 1977 elections. So, according to Article 356, we have one more emergency power for the President of India, that is state emergency or president's rule. Article 355 says that it is the duty of union government to protect every state against external aggression or internal disturbances, and to ensure that the government of every state is carried on in accordance with the provisions of the Constitution of India. Here in Article 356 says, when the president is satisfied that the government of a state cannot be carried on in accordance with the provisions of the Constitution, either on the report of state governor or otherwise, the president's rule may be declared, which means in case there is a lack of majority in a particular state, at that time, the president can impose president's rule under Article 356. This is also called state emergency or constitutional emergency. The president may also make a proclamation when any state has failed to comply with or to give effect to any direction given by the union in the interests of the executive powers of the state under Article 365. Here, if the Lok Sabha stands to dissolve at the time of this proclamation, it has been approved by the Rajya Sabha. If there is no session or there is no power of Lok Sabha, the Rajya Sabha will be acted to implement this constitutional emergency according to the Constitution of India. It has to be placed before the new Lok Sabha after next elections. So the proclamation of the president's rule could operate for 6 months. It may be extended for another 6 months with the approval of the parliament. It can be extended up to 3 years under following circumstances, such as national emergency or Election Commission of India reports the continuance enforce of the proclamation of the necessary on account of difficulties in holding general elections to the legislative assembly of the state concerned. And also, if it is to be extended for more than 3 years, the parliament has to amend the constitution for the first time in president's rule was imposed in Punjab in the year 1951. So if we discuss about this president's rule, we have been imposed more than 100 times in Indian states. Most of the times has been imposed in Kerala 9 times, and also Uttar Pradesh 9 times, for Andhra Pradesh 3 times, that is 1954, 1973 and 2014 during the partition of joint Andhra Pradesh. In 2014, the president has imposed president's rule to divide the states as a Telangana and Andhra Pradesh. So this is the president's rule according to the Article 356. So since 1950, more than we have imposed 100 times. In many times, the president's rule has been declared in an arbitrary manner of a for political and also personal reasons too. If government wants to go elections before their term, their tenure, they may resign for the state assembly. They will have right to go to the next elections. that will call it as a personal reason. And also we have financial emergency under Article 360. If the president is satisfied that there is a great danger of financial stability or credit of India or any part, he can proclaim financial emergency according to the Article 360 of Constitution of India. The proclamation of this emergency must be approved by the both houses of the parliament within 2 months. If it is approved, it would continue for 6 months. The term can be extended by the approval of the president or approval of the parliament for every 6 months. If we impose that financial emergency, what are the effects will be there under the states and for the union government? If we impose this financial emergency, the president may reduce the salaries and allowances of all the employees of union and states, including the judges of Supreme Court and High Court. The president can direct the states to reserve money bills passed by the state legislature for his consideration. And also, the union government is empowered to extend its executive authority to certain financial matters. And also, the central government gets total powers on financial matters. So, this is the financial emergency. Since it will looks like Article 352 of national emergency. Article 360 looks like same as a Article 352, which means national emergency. At that time, the parliament has more powers than all the states during this. If we impose this financial emergency, so there are several criticism also there regarding this powers and functions of the President of India. So this is the major important powers functions of the President of India as part of our syllabus. So as we discussed, the President of India is having both normal powers and also emergency powers in according to the Constitution of India. And now we are going to discuss about the Union Executive and Judiciary. In this category, a Union Executive means, as part of our syllabus, we have the Prime Minister and also we have Council of Ministers, their powers and functions. So here, as like President of India, the Prime Minister of India is the important position in our administration system. So according to the Constitution of India, we have adopted a Westminster system from the Britain cabinet system. So this is also known as parliamentary or cabinet form of government. We adapted British model parliamentary form of the system to the Indian state. So it is the English system of government. In this system, there are two executives, named dignified and efficient executive. So as we discussed here, nominal head and real head. As we discussed, the President of India is the nominal head of the Constitution, and the Prime Minister of India is the real executive or real head of the state. So that is the difference between the real head and nominal head. As we discussed, the Prime Minister is responsible for aiding and advising the President of India in distribution of work of the government to various ministers and officers in terms of functioning, the proper functioning of the government of India. So majorly the President of India is the main appointing authority of this Prime Minister of India after general elections, who got the majority in Parliament, which means in Lok Sabha, who got the majority. That majority party leader is appointed as a Prime Minister of India by the President of India. So, and also as the role of the Prime Minister also ultimately depends upon his capacity, efficiency, and personality, and the support to the Lok Sabha, quality of his ministers, and his own image in the country. As the Prime Minister is the part of the Council of Ministers, it is essential to study in brief and make an account of aspects of in this regard to the Union Council of Ministers. So here, Article 75 of the Constitution of India says that there would be a Prime Minister of the country who would be appointed by the President of India and chosen by the people of India through the general elections for every 5 years. He is thus the people's representative. He is elected directly by the people. Take a if we discuss about this appointment of the Prime Minister of India, the Prime Minister of India appointed by the President of India, which means after the general elections, which held in direct method and elected by the direct method by the people of India, after the general elections, getting the majority from the general elections, that party leader is entitled to elected as a Prime Minister of India. So here, this Prime Minister of India is the head of the cabinet, and also he, along with the Council of Ministers, forms the executive powers at the center. The President of India is just a normal head, while the main powers are vested in the name of Prime Minister of India and his Council of Ministers. In short, while the President is referred to as a head of the state, the Prime Minister is called as the head of the government. That is the difference between the Prime Minister and President of India. President of India is called as a head of the state. The Prime Minister of India called as the head of the government. So this is the small difference between the President and Prime Minister. If we discuss about the functions and powers of the Prime Minister, he proposes the names of the members of his political party to the President for appointment as a ministers, and also he decides the distribution of the charges to various ministers and can reshuffle their cabinet. Also, he can change portfolios time to time. He has the right to change the portfolios between the ministers with the approval of President of India. And also, he presides over the meetings of cabinet and can change the decisions taken therein. And also, he can suggest to the President of India about the resignation or removal of any minister from his cabinet. He also controls and directs the functioning of ministers in the cabinet. He can resign anytime, and he can suggest to the President of India to dissolve the cabinet. He can suggest to the President to dissolve the Lok Sabha and to organize fresh elections. And also, if the Prime Minister of India resigns from his post or dies in office during his tenure, the cabinet stops functioning and spontaneously dissolves after the death of the Prime Minister. So this is the special provision mentioned in our Constitution of India. So, and also the President has a relationship with this Prime Minister. So according to the Article 74, to advise the President in various matters of national importance, there will be a cabinet of ministers which must be headed by the Prime Minister of India. President will take decisions based on the advice of Prime Ministers. However, he can ask for reconsideration of the decisions taken by the cabinet ministers. Through any such decision or advice after the reconsideration or bond to be followed by him. The Prime Minister will be appointed by the President of India, and other ministers also be appointed by the President of India according to the Article 75 of the Constitution. So ministers can enjoy their power, their office, till the wish or will of the President of India, which means if there is lack of majority, they have to resign their offices, they have to resign their post. Cabinet ministers will be collectively responsible to the Parliament of India. So if one person from the ministry or one cabinet minister violates the constitutional rules or proceedings, the entire cabinet will be the responsible for that reason. So that is the principle of collective responsible according to the Article 75 of the Constitution of India. So many reports from the cabinet ministers will be sent to the President of India to brief the President of India about any state or emergency or any matter of foreign policy or urgent importance. These Council of Ministers will prepare drafts and send to the President of India. And also, while drafting the Constitution of India, Dr. Ambedkar enumerated the role of the Prime Minister of India to be a functionary which can be compared to the President of United States. There is a differences between Indian President and American President. Here, our President of India is the nominal head, but in USA, in United States of America, the President of United States of America is directly elected by the people. So our Prime Minister of India is in functioning or in exercising the powers, he is the equal to the President of United States of America. Therefore, it can be said that in India, President is the nominal head and the Prime Minister is the executive head of the government. So this is the differences between the President and the Prime Minister of India. We will discuss the Prime Minister of India's powers and functions in tomorrow's class. And also we have Judiciary, State Legislature, Governor, State Government chapter also there. We will discuss in next classes. Is there any doubts regarding today's chapter?
Yes, sir. In financial powers లో ఒక పాయింట్ ఉంది సార్. ద కంటింజెన్సీ ఫ్యూనల్ ఆఫ్ ఇండియా ఈస్ ఎట్ ద ప్రెసిడెంట్ డిస్పోజ్డ్ అని ఉంది సార్. అంటే మీనింగ్ ఏంటి సార్?
ఎక్కడ ఫైనాన్షియల్ పవర్స్ లోనా?
ఎస్ సార్. ప్రెసిడెంట్ ఫైనాన్షియల్ పవర్స్ లో ద కంటింజెన్సీ ఫ్యూనల్ ఆఫ్ ఇండియా ఈస్ ఎట్ ద ప్రెసిడెంట్ డిస్పోజ్డ్ అని ఉంది సార్.
ఎక్కడ ఉంది అది? ఫైనాన్షియల్ ఎమర్జెన్సీలో
ఫైనాన్షియల్ పవర్స్ సార్.
పవర్స్ లోనా? ఓకే.
ఎస్ సార్.
ఓకే, ఇది కంటింజెన్సీ ఫండ్ అనేది ఏంటంటే సెంట్రల్ గవర్నమెంట్ హ్యాండ్ ఓవర్ లో ఉండే ఒక స్పెషల్ ఫండ్. ఒకవేళ బడ్జెట్ లో డబ్బులు లేకపోయినా, బడ్జెట్ లో కనుక డబ్బులు లేకపోతే, అంటే గవర్నమెంట్ దగ్గర డబ్బులు లేకపోతే ఈ ఫండ్ నుంచి డబ్బులు డ్రా చేసుకొని యాక్టివిటీస్ చేసుకోవడానికి ఉంటది. ఇది ప్రెసిడెంట్ ఆధ్వర్యంలోనే నిర్వహించబడేటటువంటి నిధి అన్నట్టు. దీన్ని తెలుగులో ఆగంతుక నిధి అంటారు. అంటే ఎమర్జెన్సీ పర్పసెస్. అంటే అవసరానికి సరిపోను డబ్బులు గవర్నమెంట్ దగ్గర లేనప్పుడు ఈ నిధి నుంచి డబ్బులు తీసుకొని ఖర్చు చేసుకునే అధికారం ప్రెసిడెంట్ అడ్వైజ్ తీసుకొని ఖర్చు చేయడానికి అవకాశం ఉంటుంది.
సో నెక్స్ట్ వచ్చి మిలిటరీ పవర్స్ లో హీ మే కాన్స్టిట్యూషన్ వార్ కౌన్సిల్ ఇన్ ఏ సిచ్యువేషన్ ఆఫ్ ఎక్స్టర్నల్ ఎమర్జెన్సీ అని ఉంది సార్.
ఎక్స్టర్నల్ ఎమర్జెన్సీ అంటే ఇప్పుడు మన నైబర్స్ మన పైన అటాక్ చేస్తే కనుక దానిపైన యుద్ధం చేయడానికి ఒక కమిటీ వేసి డిసైడ్ చేసి యుద్ధానికి పిలుపునివ్వచ్చు అన్నట్టు. లేదంటే యుద్ధాన్ని ఆపమని చెప్పే అధికారం కూడా ప్రెసిడెంట్ కు ఉంటుంది.
సో వార్ కౌన్సిల్ అంటే ఏంటి సార్? హీ మే కాన్స్టిట్యూషన్ వార్ కౌన్సిల్ అని ఉంది సార్.
మనకు కు అటాక్ చేసినప్పుడు అతడు ఒక ప్రైమ్ మినిస్టర్ కి చెప్పి ఒక కౌన్సిల్ ఏర్పాటు చేసేసి వాళ్ళు డిసైడ్ చేస్తారు, మనం యుద్ధానికి వెళ్తే బాగుంటుందా, యుద్ధానికి వెళ్ళొచ్చా, దాని అవుట్కమ్స్ ఎట్లుంటాయని చెప్పేసి డిసైడ్ చేయడానికి ఒక కౌన్సిల్ ఏర్పాటు చేస్తారు, ఒక కమిటీ. వార్ కౌన్సిల్ మీన్స్ ఇట్స్ ఎ కమిటీ.
ఓకే సార్. సార్ నెక్స్ట్ వచ్చి ఎమర్జెన్సీస్ చెప్పారు కదా సార్, ఎమర్జెన్సీ పవర్స్ ఆఫ్ ప్రెసిడెంట్ లో ప్రతి ఒక్క ఎమర్జెన్సీ కింద ఏమి ఇచ్చాడంటే ఇట్ షుడ్ బి అప్రూవ్డ్ బై ద పార్లమెంట్ విత్ ఇన్ 2 months, అదర్వైజ్ ఇట్ కాసెస్ టు ఆపరేట్ ఆఫ్ అండ్ దట్ పీరియడ్ ఈస్ ఓవర్ అన్నారు సార్. దాని మీనింగ్ సార్?
అంటే ఇన్ కేస్ ఇది ఇంపోజ్ చేసిన తర్వాత, నేషనల్ ఎమర్జెన్సీ ఇంపోజ్ చేసిన తర్వాత విత్ ఇన్ 2 months పార్లమెంట్ అప్రూవల్ ఇవ్వాలి. అంటే 60 days. 60 days లో అప్రూవల్ ఇవ్వకపోతే ఈ 60 days మాత్రం కంటిన్యూ అవుతుంది. ఆ 60 days కు రద్దు అయిపోతుంది వెంటనే. ఇఫ్ కన్ఫర్మ్ చేస్తే కంటిన్యూగా 6 months ఉంటుంది. కంటిన్యూ కాకపోతే ఆ సెషన్ లో ఎప్పుడైతే వీళ్ళు నో అని చెప్తారో అప్పటిదాకా ఇది మాత్రం యాక్టివిటీ కంటిన్యూ అవుతుంటుంది అన్నట్టు. ఎనీ ఎమర్జెన్సీ, నేషనల్ కానీ, ప్రెసిడెంట్ రూల్ కానీ, ఫినాన్షియల్ ఎమర్జెన్సీ కానీ. ఇప్పటి వరకు ఫినాన్షియల్ ఎమర్జెన్సీ మనము పెట్టుకోలేదు. ఈ 2 జరిగినాయి. ఈ రెండిటికి కూడా మాక్సిమం అక్కడ అప్రూవల్ ఇవ్వకపోవడం అనేది ఎప్పుడు కూడా జరగదు. ఎందుకంటే మెజారిటీ ఉన్న గవర్నమెంటే ఈ యాక్టివిటీ చేస్తుంది కాబట్టి, ఇన్ ద నేమ్ ఆఫ్ ప్రెసిడెంట్ ఆఫ్ ఇండియా మెజారిటీ ఉన్న గవర్నమెంటే ఈ యాక్షన్ తీసుకుంటుంది కాబట్టి 2/3 మెజారిటీ సింపుల్ గా వస్తుంది వాళ్ళకి. ఎందుకంటే మెజారిటీ ఉన్నప్పుడు వాళ్ళకి 2/3 అనేది సింపుల్ వాళ్ళకి. అందుకే ఇప్పుడు రీసెంట్ గా చూస్తున్నట్టయితే ఎటువంటి బిల్ అయినా సరే వితౌట్ ఎనీ సపోర్ట్ ఫ్రమ్ ది అపోజిషన్ లీడర్స్ వాళ్ళు కంప్లీట్ గా బిల్స్ అన్ని కూడా పాస్ చేసుకుంటూ వెళ్ళిపోతున్నారు.
ఓకే. నెక్స్ట్ వచ్చి ద యూనియన్ పార్లమెంట్ కెన్ ఎక్సర్సైజ్ ద పవర్స్ ఆఫ్ స్టేట్ లెజిస్లేటివ్. అంటే స్టేట్ ఎమర్జెన్సీ టైమ్ లో ఉంది సార్ ఈ పాయింట్. యూనియన్ పార్లమెంట్ కెన్ ఎక్సర్సైజ్ ద పవర్ ఆఫ్ ద స్టేట్ లెజిస్లేటివ్.
అంటే ఆ టైంలో ఆ రాష్ట్రంలో రాష్ట్రపతి పాలన విధిస్తారు కదా స్టేట్ ఎమర్జెన్సీ. ఆ టైంలో స్టేట్ అడ్మినిస్ట్రేషన్ మొత్తం కూడా పార్లమెంటే చూసుకుంటుంది. అప్పుడు గవర్నరు వాళ్ళ రిప్రజెంటేటివ్ గా, సెంట్రల్ గవర్నమెంట్ రిప్రజెంటేటివ్ గా గవర్నర్ పేరు మీదుగా ఇక్కడ అడ్మినిస్ట్రేషన్ మొత్తం పార్లమెంటే చేపడుతుంది. జీవోస్ ఆర్డర్ చేయడం కానీ, బడ్జెట్ ఒకవేళ బడ్జెట్ అవసరం అనుకుంటే బడ్జెట్ కూడా పార్లమెంటే డిసైడ్ చేస్తుంది.
ఓకే సార్. నెక్స్ట్ ఇంకొకటి, ప్రెసిడెంట్ ఆఫ్ ఇండియా ఎలక్షన్ ప్రొసీజర్ లో ఇక్కడ మాకు ఉన్న టెస్ట్ పేపర్ లో ఒక వాల్యూ ఇచ్చారు సార్. అంటే వాల్యూ ఆఫ్ అన్ ఎమ్మెల్యే, వాల్యూ ఆఫ్ ఎంపీ అని
అది మీకు అర్థం చేసుకోవడానికి మన బుక్ సరిపోతుంది, టెస్ట్ పేపర్ కాదు. మన బుక్ లో ఉన్నది చూసుకోండి సరిపోతుంది.
టెక్స్ట్ బుక్ లో ఉన్నది ఫాలో అయిపోమంటారా?
టైం సరిపోదని టెక్స్ట్ బుక్ లో ఉన్నది చూసుకోండి. మనకు టైం సరిపోదని అది ఎక్స్ప్లెయిన్ చేయాలి. అది దానికే ఒక 10 minutes పోతుంది.
ఓకే సార్. ఇన్ కేస్
చెప్పిన అందుకే ఎమ్మెల్యే ఎంతమందిని రిప్రజెంట్ చేస్తాడు, ఎంపీ ఎంతమందిని రిప్రజెంట్ చేస్తాడు అనేది డిఫరెన్స్ ఉంటది. సో ఇక్కడ మన దాంట్లో సింపుల్ గా ఉన్నది చూడండి. ఒక ఎంపీ ఓట్ వాల్యూ వచ్చేసి 663 వస్తుందంట. ఎమ్మెల్యేది వచ్చేసి ఎమ్మెల్యేది మెన్షన్ చేయనట్టున్నారుగా. పాపులేషన్ తోటే డిసైడ్ చేస్తారు. ఎందుకంటే ఒక ఎంపీ 10 లక్షల జనాభాను రిప్రజెంట్ చేస్తాడు మన దగ్గర. అట్లా ఒక ఎంపీ ఓట్ వాల్యూ ఈక్వల్ టు 663 అని మెన్షన్ చేసింది.
అప్పుడు వాల్యూ ఆఫ్ ఎమ్మెల్యే సార్
అదే మనకు ఇక్కడ మెన్షన్ చేయలేదు. ఇక్కడ మన పాపులేషన్ వేరే ఉంటది. ఎమ్మెల్యే పాపులేషన్ ది, ఎంపీది అయితే అంతటా కామన్ గా ఉంటుంది. ఎమ్మెల్యేది వచ్చేసి స్టేట్ టు స్టేట్ డిఫరెంట్ గా ఉంటుంది కాబట్టి అందుకు పాపులేషన్ మెన్షన్ చేయలేదు. ఎమ్మెల్యే అయితే అందరికి కామన్, 10 lakhs కు ఒక ఎంపీ ఉండేటట్టు కాన్స్టిట్యున్సీని డిసైడ్ చేస్తారు. ఎమ్మెల్యేకి వచ్చేసి కాన్స్టిట్యున్సీ ఇప్పుడు మనం చూస్తున్నట్టుగా మన దగ్గర కూడా కొత్తగా కాన్స్టిట్యున్సీని ఏర్పాటు చేయడం, కొత్త మండలాలను ఏర్పాటు చేయడం, ఇట్లా చేయడం వల్ల డిఫరెన్స్ ఉంటుంది అన్నట్టు స్టేట్ టు స్టేట్.
ఓకే సార్. నెక్స్ట్ ఇంకొకటి, ఫైనాన్షియల్ ఎమర్జెన్సీలో ఒక పాయింట్ ఉంది సార్. ద ప్రెసిడెంట్ కెన్ డైరెక్ట్ ద స్టేట్ టు రిజర్వ్ మనీ బిల్స్ పాస్డ్ బై ద స్టేట్ లెజిస్లేచర్ ఫర్ హిస్ కన్సిడరేషన్.
అంటే ఇన్ కేస్ ఫైనాన్షియల్ ఎమర్జెన్సీ కనుక ఇంపోజ్ చేస్తే ఆ స్టేట్ గవర్నమెంట్ కనుక బడ్జెట్ కనుక చేస్తే ఆ బడ్జెట్ కాపీని ప్రెసిడెంట్ కు పంపిస్తారు. ప్రెసిడెంట్ కు పంపిస్తే ప్రెసిడెంట్ పార్లమెంట్ లో ఇంట్రడ్యూస్ చేసి దానిపైన రివ్యూ చేసి వాళ్ళు చేసిన బడ్జెట్ కరెక్టే ఉందా లేదా, మళ్ళీ మనకి ఏమైనా ఇబ్బందులు వస్తాయా, వాళ్ళు ఎక్కువ ఖర్చు పెట్టాలనుకుంటే ఆ ఖర్చులను తగ్గించి వాళ్ళు పంపిందే మనకి ఇక్కడ ఇంప్లిమెంట్ చేయమని చెప్తారు అన్నట్టు.
ఓకే సార్. ఓకే సార్. ఇన్ కేస్ ఆ ప్రొసీజర్ ఒకసారి అయితే చదువుతాం సార్. ఇన్ కేస్ అర్థం కాకపోతే నెక్స్ట్ క్లాస్ లో డౌట్ అడుగుతాం సార్.
ఓకే, షూర్.
ఓకే సార్. థ్యాంక్ యూ సార్.
ఓకే, థ్యాంక్ యూ.